welcome to Flipper Flicks, where we flip on and flip off
I love it.
movies.
That's good. That's good. I want to
I'm
flip
Tim.
it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't see but that's,
There's a
he says
hand
it in the
gesture.
movie like that. He does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a hand gesture for the pause.
I'm Adam.
I'm Sam.
I already said my name.
Yeah, I know, but you're on
Very
synopsis.
quietly. I'm
You're on
YM.
synopsis.
Tim.
He's going
yeah,
Tim
I know.
Turtle style.
Yeah. Nobody can see, but
Right, nobody can see, but I always forget that. And, it's okay, I guess. So this week we had for the Nick Cage to Dog Days of Cage was Face Off. And if you're not aware, it's face/off. There's actually a slash in it, which
Who
is an
knew?
interesting choice, but makes sense. The synopsis here is what I feel like written incorrectly because there's
ooh, hot
the
take already.
apostrophes are not in the appropriate places, I feel like. But
Oh,
anyway,
no.
here's the synopsis from a movie from 1997. To foil a terrorist plot, an FBI agent assumes the identity of the criminal who murdered his son through facial transplant surgery, but the crook wakes up prematurely and vows revenge.
Dude, are you
Yeah.
on IMDb? Where? There
Yeah.
are no apostrophes in here. There are commas.
I'm sorry, commas. I said apostrophe, I meant
I was
commas,
like-
yeah.
I'm staring at this. I'm like,
Maybe I shouldn't judge it then because I said apostrophes in my
That's amazing.
Oh, shit. But
uh,
yeah, I mean, just that sentence there. It says
the
criminal
first
who murdered
one.
his son through facial transplant. Like what? It runs on too long. and it
they
doesn't
have
make
an
It makes
appropriate.
it seem like he murdered his son through facial transplant surgery.
No.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like to me.
yeah. That
Oh,
does
It
no.
read that way.
correctly.
Also, like you're like terrorist plot. But also, I'm trying to avenge my son. Like, how are those
Yeah.
coordinated together? Like, how are those associated? Like, I mean, I can gather that the terrorist probably killed his son
Yeah.
Yes.
through
Yeah.
facial transplant
Yeah,
surgery.
exactly.
Transplant. Yeah. Which, okay.
That'd be
so,
frightening, dude.
yeah, like there's no way in hell this would actually ever happen, right?
Yeah.
Happened in
I mean-
2012, but yeah,
We don't know. But what do you mean?
the first face transplant occurred in 2012.
No, I mean for like a situation
I
like
know.
this.
Where they literally switch
Like-
faces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where his
like,
face is like floating in the breeze, like a layer in Photoshop.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's why this movie was always memorable to me, or memorable. There's a word in there that I should use, but I'm not going to. It's because it's a unique plot, even though it's a shit one.
Yeah.
It's unique enough to you're like, oh, okay, I'm interested, or like, it works, but it's garbage. Like the idea
Yeah.
behind it, just to make an action movie different and then get into the action. I think it worked, but yeah, I just think the plot's terrible.
So, okay, this movie was originally written to take place. Now I'm messing up my
We're
words.
doing
Changes.
great. We're doing
It's
great.
it's
today.
Friday. We're recording on a
Oh,
Friday, and our brains are
Yeah.
drained.
Yeah.
It was supposed to take place in the future, or like in a post-apocalyptic.
That
like,
would make more sense.
Oh, okay.
not
Yeah,
in
it would.
present day of the
Present
1990s.
1997. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where they're
so
laser printing ears. Like,
that didn't exist, but it does now, which is funny.
I
Right.
know. And I'm like, you guys were just slightly off 3D printing.
Yeah,
I
but-
mean, you were almost there.
Dude, the first guy that actually had a face transplant shot his face off with a fucking pun intended. With a fucking shotgun.
Oh.
Yeah.
He shot his own face.
Yep.
I mean, isn't that
Come on,
surprising?
man.
It happens.
But I don't know of any movie, maybe outside of The Rock, can get more 90s than this.
Oh my God, yes. At least in
Yeah.
the beginning,
It's
for
pretty-
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's
No.
it's like the 80s has a vibe, 2000s has a vibe. This is the 90s.
I
Very
vibe with the
clearly.
90s. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because like
I enjoy.
the very first scene, Nick Cage like whips his cape around when he's like
I
trying to
know.
take the shot. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Also,
It's
they're like
ridiculous.
the amount of diving shots, like people just jumping in the air.
Oh, the actual action scenes are actually pretty bad.
yeah.
But
Like all the shooting and stuff is pretty cringe, but
Yeah.
it's so funny because it's like, so apparently the director's John Woo, who is a
Oh, okay.
well-known director
yeah.
in the film. Apparently not to Sam.
Not to me.
But like he helped inspire a lot of filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino
Oh.
and other movies. Like John Wick is put like in the John Woo. I don't know if it's inspired by it, but like people were like,
Sure.
hey, that's like a John Woo film.
Mm.
Yeah.
And The Matrix, the directors from that took some of the action scenes from this, like from John Woo, which makes sense because there's a lot of diving shooting in The Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So he kind of like started an era of action film.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah, a
that.
little trend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely see it though, because there's a lot of explosions as well, and then the explosions have like sparks that like
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily be there.
It's
like,
definitely the 90s like explosion style stuff
Yeah.
with things and like noises and like extra added stuff like the sparks to explosions. There, attire, like not only is it just the attire from there, but a lot of the time it's like over the top. But
yeah.
the gold guns.
Oh my gosh,
Dude.
so good.
Gold guns.
They're
Also,
actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I'm like 95% sure Tim can back me up on this. That firing two pistols like that, you're gonna have awful accuracy. Like trying to shoot like that.
Yeah, I mean you're not aiming in any aspect because if you have two out in front of you, you can only focus on one of them.
hmm
Yeah.
So, and then
You have
B,
two eyes, but you
they're-
don't have two brains.
correct. So B, they're not centered, which they shouldn't be centered anyway. Some people can do it, just depends. But you're not able. I mean, he basically has a split. He's tip shooting anyway because it's way down by his like chest. He's not like up near his eyes at all.
Yeah.
So him being accurate. I mean, you can.
That being said, nobody
I
was
don't know
accurate
how-
worth a shit in this film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, but you can be accurate like that from depending on the range. I mean, a lot of people are pretty good at instinctive shooting. Essentially,
I mean, I've seen
Um,
Western films.
it's hand-eye coordination comes into play where you're looking is where it's pointing essentially.
Yeah.
So
A bit
it
of
can
memory
work,
too.
but with both hands at the same time, highly doubtful. not great. Not great, in my opinion.
I just thought it was funny to ask Tim that question.
Yeah.
Okay, but we got to talk about our friend Nick here.
Yeah.
He has probably one of the worst haircuts of all films, and we just watched Next.
In Raising Arizona.
And Raising. Okay,
He's a good ball.
Raising Arizona is amazing. His
That was
hair,
better. Yeah.
just because it's purposely wild,
Yeah.
not
Yes, it-
terribly
and
cut.
It like kind of shows his emotions in the film. So like where he's at mentally. in my
Yeah.
opinion.
What do you think of our opinion of your hair there, Nick?
Bullshit!
I think he doesn't like it.
He doesn't want us to commentary on his hair. Got it. got
Okay,
it.
good to know. Good to know. What about his chest hair?
Oh
His
my
perfectly
gosh.
manicured chest hair.
I mean, he's a hairy man, and then the fact that it's just like suddenly
Yeah, it's
perfectly
just
manscaped.
it's just
like,
manscaped on the
post
chest. Yeah.
nipple, like not even on the
Yeah.
belly.
That was just so funny to me.
Ugh.
But
Just the idea of like completely changing their body, taking his scar away, like
ooh, this is
like
gonna lead
okay,
to good conversation.
basically gave him liposuction, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I guess it works for a week. Like there's gonna be scars and like I don't know. Just the idea.
Also, did they
It's so
add fat
stupid.
to Nicolas Cage's body so he could look like John
Right.
Travolta?
Yeah.
And the real question is, did they change the penises?
Yep. I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Because,
I
he definitely
mean,
sleeps.
yeah, it's a valid
Right.
question.
I mean, if someone was snipped and one
probably did.
wasn't, like, just imagine if it was the one way that it can't be changed to.
That is true. Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
funny, like, bullshit that Sam and I were laughing about it
Yes.
because I brought it up very early on in the film.
We were like, this is bullshit. She would know.
Yeah. She would know for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's
There
been
would be way
fun.
too many tells in general.
Yeah.
Like, just everything would be a tell.
Yeah, but you know how she really knew, Tim? Well, as the
The
viewers,
face touch.
the face touch. There were 6 of them. Like
The stroking.
Yeah.
that is all I knew coming into this film
Same.
is that they stroke someone's face
A lot.
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
and like it's like almost an aggressive amount.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a bit.
Just when it calms down, it ramps back up again at the
And
end.
he does it to a fucking. He does it to like a picture
Yeah.
at some
He
point.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. Well, I have a lot of questions for this movie, like in the first 15 minutes, I would say. Like this
Okay.
one opens pretty hot and like
Are you talking about the church scene? Well, not the church.
no, the church is later.
Convention-
I'm talking
convention
about
scene.
like, well, yeah, he's like basically dancing around and he's groping a girl as a
Yeah.
priest. But like I was talking about, then they get to like the airport and we got helicopter chasing. We're shooting
my
out
God.
plane engines.
Dude.
He's licking, talking about I think eating ass, but I didn't know that we were talking about that.
Dude,
in the
wait.
90s. Like,
Yeah,
What is
that
the
seems
quote?
early,
Yeah.
but yeah, I agree. I'm pretty sure that's just straight up what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Peaches. I could eat peaches for I could eat your peach for an hour.
Yeah.
And that's the line they did to fix his larynx. To
I
make it
know.
sound like
Right.
Castor Troy. What's really funny is what if Peach didn't mean ass at that time?
Yeah. It might not
Right.
have.
Like, I mean, they didn't have emojis.
I was just very shocked because I felt like
True.
that wasn't normally what we saw in the 90s, but maybe it was just I was not exposed to that as a child.
Yeah.
Eating ass is a millennial thing.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Millennials were all children at this point still.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What if it started
where they got
because
it
of
from.
Face
This
Off?
Oh,
Yeah.
everybody's just such a big fan of this movie. They're like, why not?
Well, I was
Oh,
also
shoot.
unsettled by like his tongue always having to be out and
Oh
licking
my
things.
God.
Like,
What about the
Yeah.
sucking of the tongue?
yeah,
Oh, that was
no.
awkward as hell.
I hated
Especially
that.
since she was like undercover and shit.
Yeah.
Oh God. Kudos to her.
I know.
Even the acting aspect of it, like just sucking on somebody else's tongue.
Too much.
I'm good.
Here, Tim, I can change the conversation. They actually blew up a plane.
Oh.
They
Oh,
bought that
sweet.
plane
They
to
had the
destroy
budget.
it.
That's pretty cool.
Almost everything was practical effects. And John
Makes
Woo was
sense.
like, it was a big pain in the butt to do the boat scene.
I believe
Oh, I'm
it.
sure. I'm sure.
Yeah. And I'm just over here like, Hydro Thunder, the
Yep.
movie.
Oh, Hydro Thunder.
What a
sweet.
great arcade game. Brought me back.
I had it on some system.
Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah.
But like the
Man.
other one, what was the other one? Arctic Thunder, where you got
Arctic
to
Thunder.
get AC when you were
Yeah.
driving. That one was
Oh,
good
It
too.
would like blow cold air on you just
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
driving through the fucking
That was-
tundra.
There's another one that they eventually made into an arcade game, but I don't think it caught on very quickly or at all. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a racing game, and you had like different vehicles that you could upgrade, but it's like very futuristic, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like pod racing,
Oh, okay.
and you could go so fast that you could not, at least in my opinion, if this is the right word, comprehend what's happening on the track or react to what's happening. That's how fast you could turn up the speed on it.
Oh my
like,
god,
race. I was like, this is sweet.
that's
Because you would
insane!
just
Yeah.
gradually try to get faster, and it just like you're just like, huh, and eventually you get to a point where you just cannot, like you're just hitting walls because you
Yeah.
cannot react.
So you
Just
fully
bouncing
accelerate,
around.
you fully accelerate, hit a wall, turn. Fully accelerate, hit a
Hit a
wall.
wall.
Exactly.
turn.
Yeah, you're just bumper cars at that point. It's ridiculous, but and you had guns and stuff too, and you'd slow people down with them. But I think you could actually destroy somebody completely out of the race.
That's
Now-
amazing.
now they
Can't
have
remember the name
Mar-
of that game.
They now have Mario Kart where you can take your picture and like when you're racing, it'll show like Sam's face when she hits me with a red shell.
That's awesome.
Like put you on top of Toad.
They're like, this asshole sent the blue shell, just so you know.
Yeah.
Here's their
Dude,
face.
All right, watch this transition. Those shoes they had at the prison were from fucking Super Mario Brothers
That's
1993.
awesome. That's awesome.
I made the joke when we watched it,
Yeah.
and then it's actually true.
It's actually true. That's sweet.
Yeah. Sam and I were watching. I'm like, are those the shoes from Mario?
You're like, this looks familiar.
I mean, they make logical sense.
Yeah. Well, and I want to talk about that too, because he basically gets thrown in prison, but he doesn't have backup plans. Like, basically, once everybody that knows that he's on this assignment gets blown up, he's fucked. I'm like, why
Which
wouldn't
was
you
like
have
3
like,
people.
yeah, why wouldn't you have more people that know that you're gonna face transplant and turn into this other dude? Like, have a backup plan, please.
Yeah,
Or-
there's got to be something else you can do because otherwise, I mean, this is just not.
Yeah,
Great.
like, you know, have it not necessarily like a will, but like, hey, if I die, send this letter to, you know, someone important.
Yeah, like just have
Like the
somebody check
director.
up
some,
on you.
some kind of, you know,
Backup
safety net,
system.
backup situation. Yeah.
Like a black
Like if something
box.
happens to all of those people, then something goes out to the entire department so they can go and rescue him. Or something, you know, something that makes sense to where he doesn't have to break out of prison,
Also,
get his life back.
this is like, Castor Troy was really stupid in the fact that, hey, everything that is being done to you surgically has never been done before and only done by these like 3 people in the world, and you burned them alive.
He's
What
like,
was your end game there? Like, you clearly want your face back.
he's like,
Well, it also
nah.
seemed like he didn't though at some point. But sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead with that thought.
No, you
That
know
was
what?
it. I mean, it's just like at first it almost seems like he was going to keep it and then change. Like, you know, now he's got a fresh start and he can just do
Yeah.
things from.
Yeah.
And he
But-
was definitely trying to like get his way up the ladder. You know what I mean? By like killing his
Mhm.
boss and all of
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, autopsy totally would have shown the heart attack that he was choked out and killed. Like,
what? No.
yeah. I think if you suddenly died, I would get an autopsy to make sure your death was from a heart attack.
Yeah, but he was kind of older, you know?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I understand that, but
And he was coughing and doing he had some sort of ailments.
They would probably have figured it out after the fact.
yeah, they would
Like
have.
after, even if they did or didn't. I mean, because at the time they wouldn't suspect him, right?
Right.
But at the end of it, they would be like, "Oh shit, did he kill him?"
Yeah.
Wait a
Let's
second.
follow up on that, please.
Yeah.
Apparently, Nick Cage, almost didn't sign on to this movie because he didn't want to be a villain.
I thought that was
He makes a great villain
yeah.
though.
I thought that was interesting because I was like, wait, have we seen him as like the villain? Like, it's not very often.
Renfield. But yeah, he
Yeah.
usually plays the hero, which it makes sense that he doesn't want to play
It's a
villains, but-
branding, personal brand.
Personal brand.
You want to make sure
This
your
But
personal
he
early in
also
his
brand.
career.
plays the hero.
Right, that's
So-
why he did it. He reread the script and was like, no, wait, I'm actually playing as Sean Archer most of the time.
Right. Yeah. Majority of the time, he's the good guy.
Dude, Sean Archer does not know how to play Castor Troy. He is not insane enough.
Not a bit. Yeah.
Like, you've studied him your whole life. You're the best man for the job. Immediately fucks up.
Yeah,
He
seriously.
just completely drops the ball.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Castor Troy's not even really trying. Grabbing random people's asses,
Mm-hmm.
their peaches.
Yeah.
The pages. But
Oh, I
yeah,
thought you were
I
gonna
mean,
sing
I
it.
thought I started to go into it and I stopped myself. Well, there you go. We had to get that out there. But yeah, I mean, Nick Cage is playing both sides, so he always ends up on top, right?
True.
You got a good point. What did you think of the Gregorian chants that we had going on?
That was sweet. Always enjoy that.
I felt like I was in Boondock Saints.
Yeah, there's not a lot of movies
Yeah.
that use Gregorian chants. So
Boondock
I
Saints
can see
does,
it.
Death Note does.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's not a lot of media that uses it in like this way, and it works.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. I actually not the cinematographer, the composer, John Powell.
Mhm.
Big fan.
Yeah, I mean, the music throughout this is fucking wild.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty. I mean, it's also like peak '90s.
Yeah.
Oh,
movie
yes.
music.
And
But
it's
it's
just-
pretty out there. Yeah.
It's crazy to me, like, how, like, loud it is, I guess. Like, it
Yeah.
feels like we don't do that as much anymore. Like, it feels like there are parts of a movie now where there's no score, or if there is, it's very, very quiet versus, like, music in this time. And I think it might have been next as well. There were a few movies that we watched during this season where I felt like, well, damn, can we just turn the music off? Like, they're having a conversation. We don't need it. Like,
Are you saying Christopher Nolan does not exist in your world?
correct? Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to double check
Gotcha. Yeah.
because everybody believes in Christopher Nolan's ability to not let you hear the actors.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess it does exist, but it's not as common. It's very, you hear it and you're like, oh, it's Nolan's film.
Well, and this one wasn't necessarily that it was drowning out the actors. It just is a weird side character. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's off. It's just, it feels very different to me. It feels very 90s. How's that? Early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
All right. So let's talk about the studio. We got to talk about the studio of Paramount and what they tried to do with this film. Step one, they tried to remove the slash from the title.
Obviously.
That's hilarious.
They
It
were
is
like,
awkward looking.
it is awkward
get it.
looking, but I kind of like it. It makes it weirder.
It works with like the plot, right? Like,
And
makes
John Woo
sense.
didn't want it to be a hockey film.
Yeah, like I get it, but I also get the studio being like, "Fuck off, mate!" Like we just
Right,
want it to be
yeah.
one word.
All right. Do
Yeah.
you want the Gina Gershon fact next or the Joan Allen one?
Oh.
The mom, like the wife, or Nick Cage's baby mama?
Let's go with Eve, the wife.
Eve. Eve was originally going to be played by Joan Allen because that's who John Woo wanted for that role.
Nice.
The studio comes in and is like, well, can we get like a younger actress in there and then we'll make her the stepmom? And John Woo was like, no.
That's a no for
That's
me.
going to be a no. And I
Yeah, that's
actually
gonna
am
be a no,
very
dog.
happy about that. We've talked about it in
Yeah.
Next a lot.
Yeah,
Like a lot. Go listen to that episode.
yeah.
So with Sasha, you know, what the studio wanted Sean Archer to do in Castor Troy's body was have sex with Sasha.
Obviously, yeah.
And John Woo was like, that kind of goes against his character.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
it wouldn't make
what
sense.
the heck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Look at that studio meddling.
yeah. They're like, "Come on now."
Yeah.
Sex sells movies. I don't think sex needed to be sold on this movie because, hey, this made like 250 in the box office.
There was also a lot of butt grabbing to go around, so that's good
Oh, yeah.
enough. And the tongue
Mhm.
sucking. There's a lot of things to cover up for the no sex, which I think is equally, if not more, revolting than what the sex scenes would have been.
Yeah. Those would have been artful.
Uh-huh.
They would have shown full
Very.
penetration.
Full penetration.
Action scene, research, full penetration.
That is what Paramount wanted, apparently.
Yeah.
And then the movie just sort of ends.
Oh, shit. The ending was originally going to be different.
Ooh.
Yeah. They were going to be walking around the house, and then Sean Archer, as Sean Archer, was going to look at a mirror, and the reflection was going to be Castor Troy.
Ah.
That would be awesome.
And
Just completely mess up his whole brain.
Yeah.
yeah, they wanted it.
Traumatized so much that he's like, ah.
Well, they wanted it to be ambiguous originally, and then they were like, you know what? Nah. Instead, we're just going to have him adopt the kid.
Yeah, we're gonna play this soft soul jam while he walks past in the window, and then he shows up with a random strange kid. Like,
A lot
this
has
is
happened
the
in
90s
the
ending
80s,
we need.
in the
If it
last
was-
8 years.
Yeah, if it was made now, they would probably make it ambiguous.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
was going to
probably.
say, in the last 8 years between this and Raising Arizona, apparently it got a lot easier to adopt a child.
Yeah.
Or is it just easier for John Travolta versus Nick Cage?
Yeah.
Well,
think
I
so.
would say that an FBI agent has a much better chance than a convict.
Yeah,
Mhm.
probably. You might be right.
Maybe.
Who's
Just
to
maybe.
say? Well, I have beef with the procedure. I want to go back to the procedure and how they say
Okay.
it's completely reversible. And I'm like, how does that work? Because you've lasered off a face, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna have to put a new face on, and then they're just mishmashing blood. Like they basically rip off his
Yeah.
cloth and put Nick Cage's old blood on John Travolta's. I was like, this is gross. And he's at one point he's like, my face itches. I'm like, no shit, you probably have an infection.
Yeah, it's probably
underneath."
not great. Yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling
God.
after that, Nick? Like, what were you feeling? You know,
I'm doing great.
he's doing great,
Yeah, he seemed to wake up with
Yeah,
like
no
a lot
itches,
less
yeah.
issue. Yeah.
dude. He was straight up having a bad time though when he woke up. Castor Troy with all the bandages.
Yes.
Where is my
Yeah.
face?
Yeah, he didn't have lips, so he's learning like, hey.
Yeah.
I know.
Which is just to think about, like how thick that was too. Like it's like, I don't think it would be that thick.
Yeah. That was pretty gruesome. I don't know. I looked away on some of those scenes. They were kind of gnarly.
I think
Oh,
that's
but-
fair.
Did you watch them, Nick?
No, no, no.
He really didn't actually watch
He
them.
must have thought they were grody.
He wanted to be nowhere near the scenes when the face transplant stuff was happening because it grossed him out.
There you go.
That makes sense.
I also was confused because of the names, like Castor and Pollux. Isn't that like a medicine? Like for some reason that reminds me of like Osmosis Jones. Like
It's-
the two people are like,
Greek. It's Greek mythology.
okay.
It is two half brothers, Castor and Troy. Castor and they have the same mother. Castor is the son of the king of Troy, Sparta,
Mm-hmm.
and then Pollux is the half son of Zeus. They became so close though that they became inseparable, and Zeus was able to split. I don't know how this works. He split Pollux's immortality between the two of them. I have no idea how that works because I'm pretty sure half of infinity is still infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have
It
a
is.
whole episode on that. Go check that out.
that's true. I forgot we did that episode.
But now they are seen as the Gemini the Gemini star system is made up of Castor and Pollux.
Okay, so maybe not medicines, but stars are where
Yes.
it triggered
Yeah.
in my mind.
Their names just seemed weird.
Yeah.
in
I kept saying
general,
Troy because it's Castor Troy.
Yeah,
but- Right.
I guess I feel like they should have named like knowing that background, like it feels like they're very intertwined, and they should have named Archer.
After Sagittarius,
Yeah.
who is the archer.
Oh, I was gonna say they're intertwined. They split their mortality. They
Yeah.
were super close. Like they should have. One of them should have been Castor, and the other one should have been Pollux versus the two crime brothers.
Yeah.
Well, the two crime brothers were very close.
Yeah, but they didn't get to split their mortality. Pollux just fucking dies.
Yeah, Pollux
he's
got
just
killed
done.
because he was an idiot, right? Like
Yeah.
he jumped in
Right.
front of him and caused himself to die.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck?
It's his own fault. Sucks, nerd.
He was a nerd.
This is true.
Was the nerd.
Apparently, there was some lag time with the dude's bomb in the film, like because it was a practical effect, and it took a minute
Oh.
for stuff to pop up, and they're like, I guess that works for the film. I don't care.
That's good enough. That's funny.
They weren't good at the digitals yet.
Yeah, they're working on it.
I will say though, so I think this must have been after Pollux died. The mirror scene was super cool.
Where
Where-
they were both on each side of the mirror.
Yeah, and they're both pointing
Oh,
guns
yeah.
at
Yeah. That's a really cool scene.
yeah, like they're pointing guns at the guy that they're trying to shoot at, but it's really themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The symbolism.
There you go.
Or words that, yep.
Well,
Yeah.
at what point that gets kicked over, and I was like, why didn't you just do that to begin with? But that's why I was like, I missed the deep. Like, I saw the deepness, but I was also like, you guys should have just kicked it over to begin with.
Kicked whatever. There it was
The
like,
mirror like falls at one point.
oh, that's
the
because they
hole.
shoot it.
No.
I'm talking about a circular room
Mm-hmm.
filled with mirrors,
Yes.
and they run and he shoots at them, and they end up on two sides of the mirror,
Yes.
and they start shooting at it,
Yes.
and then it falls.
I don't think it falls because of the shooting, but
It does. They do shoot through it though.
they do shoot through it. Yes, I'm with you there. But I think something else fell and it made it fall, or they kicked it or
Maybe
some shit.
I don't remember.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. There
Tim
was some
watched it
good
more
symbolism.
recently.
Yeah.
Do what now?
He's like, I'm not getting in the middle.
Yeah.
This is a marital argument.
Yeah. I'm just kind of letting you guys fizzle that one out. I was like, see where it goes.
Right where we started.
Still unsure.
Yeah. But I don't think we got to talk about the face off scene enough because
Only scene I knew of this film.
that's the only scene I knew of this film as well.
The
And then
face off.
like the dramatics of it all, as well as the guy
that
just
was good.
starts giggling and he's like, no more drugs for him.
Yeah, no more drugs. for
That
me.
was Sasha's brother, and they just make out at one point.
Are we sure they're brother? 'Cause
They
I
are
thought that-
brother sister.
I didn't
It is
think they
confirmed
were.
in the notes, and they have the same last
Oh.
name. And they're like, it just kind of promotes how weird they are as a brother sister. And I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah, because I remember we were watching it and Adam's like, aren't they brother and sister? I was like, there's no way. Like, they can't be. They just macked for a while.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's a little.
Cersei Jamie situation there.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Just a bit. Well, no, not in the end, though, because the son is Nick's.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
and like directly after the face, comma, off scene.
The face slash
yeah.
off.
scene. He goes into the mirror and he's like freaking out because his drugs are kicking in. And then these are like the classic Cage crazy eyes, like on
Yeah,
like
yeah.
more so than he does in other films. Like he does it and we've seen it in other films, but this was like peak level. It was so good.
Yeah, this was it almost seems like if people would watch this movie now, there'd be a lot of memes that could come out of it.
Oh, definitely.
Like, yeah, there'd be some hardcore memes.
The crazy eye is a meme.
That one, yeah. That one's where like everybody knows that. But I mean just like if people were to watch it now, younger generations, it would just I'm pretty sure there's just a plethora of them in there.
Memes galore.
It's like, yeah, I felt like The Rock had them too.
I could see that.
Like
Yeah.
90s action films. It's
Right.
80s were just that way just not too long ago.
Yep.
True.
Well, my final closing thought is that at one point he's like trying to convince his wife that it's him, and then he does the face groping
God.
waterfall stroking
and that
situation.
convinces her.
Exactly. And you're like, really? But then
Yeah,
when
like,
you think
oh.
about it, you're like, who the fuck is walking around groping people's face
Yeah,
like that?
he's
So like I get it.
Like that, yeah.
The two actors, Travolta and Cage, like went off for 2 weeks and just hung out a bunch to try and work on mannerisms. That's why
Oh, that's funny.
Castor Troy is so erratic, is because they wanted to make sure that you had like that stoic, like stand still person and then somebody who's
Mhm.
all loosey goosey,
Ah, gotcha.
so that you could easily tell.
Mm-hmm.
So they worked together, which method acting
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah, on a level, I would say.
Like intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The critics. We thinking the critics scored this well?
Sure.
Yes.
92.
Damn.
Yeah,
Audience
that-
at an-
yeah.
Audience at an 82%. IMDb 7.3 out of 10, which is very good. And then Google with an 84%.
Yeah.
Now, Tim, you picked this movie. This is your third and final film of the season.
It is.
How did you
Um,
rank it, redank it
So
this time
It made
on
it-
Flipper Fix?
third place for me.
Dang. Okay.
Oh.
So
Ooh.
Gone in 60 Seconds, Mandy, and then Face Off, The Next Renfield, Arizona Joe, Old Way, and Ghostland. Yeah, so it's funny because I'll bash this movie a lot, but at the end of the day, it's actually a very entertaining film. And the plot is so stupid but so unique and fun, like to think about, that
Yeah.
it works and it makes the film. I don't understand why, but it's just a great popcorn action film, even though like the action's dog shit, the plot's dog shit. I think it's just literally the acting, but
Yeah.
it's a good film.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Honestly, like, I was sitting there and I was like, it's one of these movies that you're like, it's like a guilty pleasure and like you're
Yeah.
afraid to admit that you enjoyed the insanity of it
That's a
all.
good way
But
to put it.
like,
yeah.
it's got your boating scene, it's got your facial groping, it's got your diving, your explosions, they're stealing kids. Like, what more could you want?
I could eat
honestly?
peach all night.
Yeah, like there's just so much going on and like I said, like the first 15 minutes I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? But like I'm in,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
can't look away.
Yep.
So this one actually ranked pretty high for me. I've gotten 60 Seconds, then Face Off, then Renfield,
Mm.
Arizona, Next, Joe, Old Way, Mandy, Prisoners. So I was debating whether or not I could put it in the top slot, but I was like, I think 60 Seconds is just more rewatchable for me.
Yeah, it is.
Now, everybody, Nicholas, are you ready for my thoughts on this?
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I actually ranked this third.
Oh.
Yeah, so Mandy Renfield, Face Off. See, I find this more rewatchable than Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me.
But that's not even fourth. Joe is fourth. Gone in 60 Seconds is fifth.
Woo.
Next, Raising Arizona, Old Way, Prisoners of the Ghostland. Now, I would say Tim and I have similar top fives.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
there's that.
I did not disgrace you, Nicholas.
Yeah, that's nice. I was like, when you asked him to chime in, I was like, oh no, are you gonna totally disagree with me and Tim and put it as like the end?
No, I had way too much fun with this. I just was like, the fuck is happening?
How could you not? So good.
And now I got to go ride the ride at Kings Island.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Complete
Which
my
is no
face
longer
off.
called Face Off.
It's
Which is lame.
something with
Yeah.
an eye, like inverted or something.
Yeah. And Vertigo.
In Vertigo. I was so
Yeah.
close.
Face
Word.
off's better.
Anyways,
Face Off is way better.
yeah, because you're facing somebody.
Yeah.
Unless you're on the ends and then you're facing nobody.
Eh.
Anyways, next week on Flipper Flicks,
I don't even know why we're spinning. Like, we know what it's gonna be.
I want to
Yeah,
spin
that's
for the
true.
fun of it.
That's fair.
Matchstick Man. They didn't know.
That's true.
So yeah, we
I
got that
thought that
one.
we spoiled it at one point.
And then finishing up with some meta-ness.
Yeah. So Dog Days of Cage is actually lasting into the end of September. So we were just a little bit late. Let's just say that your summer is
That's fine.
extending on by a few weeks.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
The season shifted, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just
That
saying.
makes sense.
We're just lining up more.
If you like this episode, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FlipperFlix. I guess we don't have to say it anymore, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm old. Follow along, see what we're doing. Interact if you'd like to.
Yeah, hit us up there. I don't know. You can also give us recommendations on other of those sites, or you can go to our website at www.flipperflix.com. Yeah, we do a couple recommendations each season, so we just love we're trying to pander right now. We're trying to get you to come to our website, give us some clicks, and recommend us a movie because, we're going to have to pick those eventually, and more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
You can also, speaking of pandering, you can also rate and review us on Apple, Spotify now. Oh, we also do polls there occasionally, so that's always fun.
Answer Adam's questions.
Answer all of my questions, God damn it.
And if you're wondering, when can I catch these fools? You can catch us at 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. We're on Spotify, as Adam mentions, where he does his polls. We're on Apple, Google, Amazon. I believe you can subscribe on the various platforms, and that way you'll get like a push notification or it'll come right into your queue. So that way you don't ever have to look at the clock on Thursday. It'll just be there for you.